So, good day, class. We will be having your laboratory diagnosis for virology. So, this is an overview of the general tests that you may utilize for the identification or isolation of your viral agent. Okay, so we could also identify viruses via symptomatology since um, most of the time viral tests are expensive. Okay, so what are the principles as to the viral specimen collection? First, of course, specimen collection is the first step as to identification of your viral agent. So, specimen selection is based on the suspected viral agent. Suspected viral agent. So, how are you going to do that? So, for example, the manifestation or disease syndrome, okay, the signs and symptoms manifest as respiratory. So, you should collect respiratory specimen, but not all. Okay, why? Because some organisms or some diseases manifest different organ dysfunction, such as, for example, you are experiencing respiratory symptoms, but the main disease was originating coming from your gastrointestinal tract. That could be possible. Or you are manifesting mental confusion, but you also have respiratory um, respiratory manifestations that could be a indication that the viral infection already transferred or moved to other parts of your body. Also you also need to consider the seasonality. The season. Is it common in rainy season, in dry season, or in winters, or in fall, spring, depending on the country that you are in, and also the epidemiology of the virus. Many viruses enter through the upper respiratory tract. This is due to the common agents are usually spread through aerosol or droplets that enters through your upper respiratory tract through inhalation. And these viruses may cause symptoms in distant tissue. So not only, as I said, not only in the respiratory tract, so such as enterovirus causing aseptic meningitis. It can be detected in the throat, rectal swab, or CSF. So this is um ingested, okay, but it is manifesting as mental confusion, respiratory failure or respiratory signs. So you could also detect virus like that. Similar in clinical syndromes, can result different viruses requiring broad diagnostic approach. So we cannot utilize only one test unless this is very specific, such as PCR. But we utilize broad spectrum or a lot of tests in order for us to isolate or confirm that this is viral in origin. Because sometimes this viruses can also manifest same way as to your bacteria and parasite. So we can utilize vast diagnostic approach. But unfortunately, since viral tests are very expensive, we only sometimes base it on the symptomatology. Okay. So, laboratory must be informed of highly infectious agents such as your SARS-CoV, H5N1, hemorrhagic fever diseases to ensure safety not only of the technician or the laboratory but also the vicinity of the healthcare facility because as indicated, most of these are contagious, okay? And we don't only protect what is in the laboratory but we also protect the surroundings. Okay? Viruses are best detected early in the disease course. Some have transient or undetectable viremia at symptoms onset. So, for example, we always utilize screening tests, and the common screening tests are your serological tests, which are testing the antibody, antigen reaction. Okay, so most of the time, viral tests are common. The viral tests that are commonly available here in the Philippines are the serological test. And for example, or West Nile virus. Okay? Specimen collection method and a validated container enhances viral recovery. So, depending on the specimen and the sample and the agent that you're isolating, you are same way with the bacteria and fungi, you select appropriate transport media or um, containers in order for you to have a high chance of isolating that organism. Okay. Importance of proper specimen collection. Of course, effective specimen collection requires good communication between the healthcare provider and the laboratory. So, in order for you to have a background on what causative agent that you are isolating, you need to also investigate or ask, okay, the other healthcare professional that are in the case, for example, the physician or the nurse. What is the manifestation? What is the ruling diagnosis? Okay, in order for you, for example, if you are thinking that the manifestation of the patient is in what do you call this? Is in severe, or the patient has a causative agent that is very contagious. So you need to inform them also. Clinical and epidemiological consideration guide specimen type selection and identification of possible viral agents. So as I mentioned, okay, clinical symptoms should be initiated or asked if 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 that could be a clue or further information that would provide you a um, good basis as to the viral agent that is causing it, and also the epidemiological. So why? Because for example, you do have dengue. Okay, dengue, yellow fever, and chikungunya. They all manifest with fever, headache, dehydration, okay, low platelet count. But you are considering the epidemiology. So where does the patient come from? For example, the patient come from China or in Southeast Asia, okay, not in the Philippines. So you could possibly think of yellow fever, okay? But if it's in the Philippines, commonly school age children, okay, and the season in the Philippines is rainy season, okay, that could possibly caused by dengue, or it could have manifestation of joint pain. Okay, joint pain. The joints of the patient or the bones of the patient are painful. It could be chikungunya. So most of the viral infection have same manifestation with other diseases. That's why we utilize vast test for your viral infection, or sometimes we utilize fast or broad spectrum treatment. Okay? So timing is critical. So specimen should be collected early in the disease course. Again, early in the disease course, as a viral titer are higher in the first 4 days. So um, the viral titer, okay, as usually, okay, signifies that it is in your antibody state. So the antibodies is your titer. So how high your production of antibody, and usually this is in form of your IgM. Again, IgM is the first line of defense. So the IgM shoots up within 4 days, okay, or the first week of the infection, and then gradually, okay, decreases, and your IgG will um will now come on or come up as to the disease okay progress. Okay, exception. Your enteroadeno cytomegalovirus exhibit prolonged shedding in stool or urine. So, usually, okay, pag sinabi nating shedding or viral shedding, these agents can be seen on the stool or urine. Okay, shedding, meaning doon sila nare-release. So, that's why your other viruses, such as your entero, your poliovirus, could be seen, okay, in your stool. That's why, we don't utilize anymore the OPV, the oral polio vaccine, because your oral polio vaccine or the live attenuated polio vaccine, okay, could be shed in the stool and could affect waterways and possibly could cause an epidemic of polio. So yan, pagka may mga exemption tayo, kasi, okay, usually, this prolonged shedding don't manifest with increased viral titer. That's why they should be isolated through the shedding in stool or urine. So, site-specific collection guidelines. So, direct sampling of infected site is preferred. So, depende sa, sabi nga natin, depende sa manifestation ng virus. So, kung saan siya nagmamanifest. Kung respiratory manifestation niya, dapat, what do you call this? Dapat, respiratory din yung specimen na i-collect ninyo. Okay? Or kung gastroenteritis yung manifestation, dapat gastric specimen din. Okay? So, for example, your skin infection or skin lesion. So, of course, kung nasaan yung vesicle or yung rash, dun mo yun i-collect. For example, your varicella or your chicken pox. Okay? Yung skin scabs or yung skin ulcerations, dun mo siya i-collect. For respiratory infection, of course, you have your throat swab, nasal swab, nasal secretion, or bronchial washing. O, di ba? Common na common that time in the COVID-19, the oro swab or the oropharyngeal swab, the nasopharyngeal swab. Okay, because your manifestation of your disease is in respiratory. Okay, disseminated infection or unclear symptoms. Of course, kung unclear or disseminated, meaning madaming sites ang affected, you should collect also multiple samples for testing. And if central nervous system, stool, or throat swab may be collected instead of cerebrospinal fluid. Bakit? Mostly, most of your CNS infection are secondary infection already that is coming from other site. Except of course, your Lysa virus or your rabies virus. This is usually isolated only in brain tissue. Okay? So, transport and storage of viral specimen. So, of course, you need to transport it immediately and have a appropriate container for it or transport medium. So, viral transport medium or your BTM is recommended containing, of course, buffered saline, protein stabilizer, and antibiotics in order for you to prevent growth of bacterial or fungi. Bakit? Kasi on the PCR or the polymerase chain reaction test, you could, these agents could interfere in the DNA analysis or RNA analysis of your machine because it also contains DNA and RNA and might falsely detected. That's why we utilize antibiotics. Bakit may protein stabilizer? In order for your virus not to lyse or not to be degraded. Okay? Because most of your protein, again, the capsid, okay, the envelope is composed of your glycoprotein and protein. Okay? That's why it should have protein stabilizer in order for your protein not to lyse in not favorable environment such as pH or heat. Okay? Common transport media, we utilize Hank's balanced salt solution, PL infusion broth, sucrose phosphate glutamate broth, and Leibovitz emery medium. So, hindi to usually common sa atin. Kasi nga, usually we don't utilize PCR testing or viral testing because of its expensive cost. Okay, next. So, swab selection, of course, you need to select what to utilize. Okay, bakit? Most of your, some of your collection tool, such as your swabs, okay, could be toxic to viruses. So, you have cotton, rayon, and dacron swabs on plastic shop, but wood, okay, kaya nga nasa plastic siya because wood is toxic to viruses. Avoid also using calcium alginate and charcoal because they inactivate your virus. Okay? They inactivate your virus. Okay, storage condition, immediate transport is preferred. Okay, of course, sabi nga natin, always naman, any specimen should be immediately tested. Short delay, less than 24 hours. If less than 24 hours, should be refrigerated. That's why, if you would remember, when I was still in DOH, I was also a swabber by that time. Okay? And if ever that the specimen is being delayed, okay, kung madami pa nakapila, madami pa akong i-collect, or malayo yung laboratory na pagdadalahan ko, usually nasa chest box, okay, with an ice. Okay, in order for it to have to be stored properly, okay, before we bring it to the laboratory. Do not freeze. Okay, do not freeze. Prolonged delay, more than 24 hours. Snap freezing, kung more than 24 hours. Pero kung, for example, kinolek mo na, idadali mo lang din mamaya-maya, ano lang, ref temp or chilled lang. Pero kung prolong, kinabukasan sa susunod mo pang araw madadala, usually snap freeze less than 70. And saan natin to usually nilalagay? Anong ref? This is the ref that being utilized for fresh frozen plasma. Okay, yung mga blood products because they have negative 70 degrees temperature with dry or liquid nitrogen. Okay, and conventional freezing of at less than 20 is unsuitable. Bakit? It could destroy your protein content. And the protein content is the one important for viral isolation because, again, ano ba yung protein na pinoprotektahan natin with virus? It's your DNA and RNA material because they are protein. Okay, the nucleic acid. Okay, would be the amino acid. Okay, and that amino acid also builds your protein. Okay, so on the respiratory, these are the samples and the possible viruses that you could detect and how you collect. So for nasopharyngeal swabs and aspirate, so you could isolate respiratory syncytial virus or RSV, influenza, and parainfluenza. So how will you collect? Of course, insert the swab into the nasopharynx or aspirate with saline wash. So this was very, very popular when it comes to COVID-19. That's why you need to check the swab if it's naso or oro because sometimes they don't check it. They just insert it on the nose of the patient and they don't realize that it was for oropharyngeal and that has a large cotton ball or attachment for the isolation and it could be painful to the patient. So always check before you do a collection. Throat swab. You could isolate enterovirus, adenovirus, and your herpes simplex virus or HSV. This could be, you utilize your swab on the posterior pharynx. Avoid your tongue and the mucosa. Mucosa meaning the cheeks and the tonsils. Why? Because this could harbor bacteria. Okay? And you could have unsterile collection. Okay? Or you could have a lot of contaminants. So, swab the posterior pharynx. If this is the mouth of the patient, ayan yung tongue, andito yung tonsil, okay, andito yung uvula, ano ba yung isa-swab mo? Itong nandito, yung wall na to. Usually, ano ginagawa namin? Ganyan, pinapaikot-ikot namin dyan. Yung swab. Okay, avoid touching the tonsils and the tongue. Okay, kaya pinapanganga natin na mabuti yung pasyente. Okay. So, bronchoalveolar lavage, you could isolate influenza adenovirus for your lower respiratory tract infection. So, it could utilize bronchoscopy assisted washing. So, kailangan ng bronchoscope. So, again, avoid calcium alginate swabs for it could interfere with PCR and fluorescence assay. Okay? Next, gastrointestinal. So, for stool, this is the one preferred than your rectal swab. Okay, you could isolate rotavirus, enteric virus, adeno, norovirus, and enteroviruses. Okay? Freshly passed stool, about 5 to 10 ml. So, hindi na to pea-sized stool. Medyo madami-dami. And usually, the manifestation of the viral viral gastrointestinal infection is watery stool, watery or mucoid stool. That's why we mentioned that it is 5 to 10 ml. Pag rectal swab naman, usually enteroviruses lang for aseptic meningitis. So, about 3 to 5 centimeters into the rectum. So, ganun kalalim around your size of your what do you call this? The first digitalis of your little finger. Stool is better than rectal swab for viral gastroenteritis detection. Okay, because it could contain viral shedding. Unlike your rectal swab, okay, if the virus is not on that location, it could be identified or it could be missed. Okay. For urine and blood, usually in urine, we could isolate your CMV or cytomegalovirus, your mumps, measles, and even rubella, so your MMR, and your polyoma viruses. So usually about 10 ml for the first voided urine. Okay, morning specimen tayo. First morning urine. So the pH adjustment may be needed for the stabilization of your protein. Okay, for blood, again, cytomegalovirus, herpes simplex, varicella zoster, and enteroviruses, about 5 to 10 ml. Anticoagulant is usually EDTA. Okay, EDTA for PCR testing. CMV is associated with your WBC. So, centrifugation improves recovery. Again, si cytomegalovirus, anong itsura niya sa sa what do you call this? Sa cells? It has an owl's eye appearance. Okay? Pag si cytomegalovirus. For the skin and mucous membrane lesion, for vesicular lesion, you could isolate herpes simplex virus, varicella zoster, and enterovirus. Okay, swab the vesicle or collect the fluid. If it has fluid collection, of course, aspirate the fluid and um, use it as a sample. Pero kung lesion lang yan, scabs, okay, medyo crusting, you need to get that. Okay? Pag chunk smear naman, chunk smear are utilized for your um, herpes simplex virus and your varicella zoster. So, impression smear from the ulcer. So, your chunk smear utilizes the ulcer. Okay? So, vesicle detection declines after ulceration or crusting. So, pag tuyo na, medyo nanuyo-nuyo na, usually, hindi na siya maganda for isolation. Kaya nga, sabi nila, pag natuyo-tuyo na hindi na masyadong nakakahawa, lalo na for the chicken pox, pag tuyo-tuyo na, hindi na nakakahawa. Okay. Other specimen, you have your CSF, your pericardial, and pleural fluid. These are all sterile specimen. So you could isolate enteroviruses, HSV, okay, varicella, cytomegalo. So this is aseptic physician collection or okay, depende. Lumbar tap for CSF, pericardiosynthesis for pericardium, pleurosynthesis for pleural fluid, and should be the physician to collect it. Okay, bone marrow for your parvovirus B19. Okay, again, si parvovirus B19 can cause anemia. So, aspirate, bone marrow aspirate, and utilize EDTA as anticoagulant for PCR testing. Tissue such as lung, brain, and gastrointestinal tissue. Okay, you can isolate CMV or cytomegalovirus, herpes simplex virus, and adenovirus. Of course, fresh tissue is subjected for PCR. Okay? So, yung tissue na yun, yung na-collect mo, yun na yung mismong ititest. Genital swabs for your herpes simplex virus and human papilloma virus. Of course. Okay, swab lesion. Cervical brush for identification of your human papilloma virus. This is for cervical cancer. Okay? In transport media. So, ito usually Okay, nakikita natin. Okay, serum. Of course, for antibody testing, acute and convalescent samples around 3 to 5 ml. So, usually this is the common sample that we utilize. For nucleic acid testing or PCR test, you could use a fresh or frozen specimen over formalin fixed tissue bucket. Your formalin can also interfere with your PCR. That's why the preservation for this one is freezing lang. Next, specimen for viral testing based on infection. So these are the infection type, okay, and the preferred sample, and then the common viral agent. I will not dwell into this one by one because we already mentioned this earlier. Okay, others. So of course, pag viremia na, of course, you utilize your blood. Okay, so special consideration for blood collection. Routine blood culture is not recommended. Okay? Due to the low virus yield. Bakit? Kasi depending on again, anong sabi natin from the previous lectures? Okay, the virus is has a trophism. And most of the time, the cells, okay, that they prefer is not found in the blood. Okay, that's why, okay, usually routine blood culture is not recommended. Okay, and also, viremia often resolves before symptoms appear. So, naka-transfer na siya to other organs or to the target cell bago siya mag-manifest ng signs and symptoms, which is wala na siya sa blood, meaning nandun na siya sa cell. Okay? Exemption, adenovirus, arbovirus infection, collect 5 to 10 ml blood into EDTA or acid citrate dextrose or heparin tube. Okay? Your Hepa B virus, herpes simplex, varicella zoster, and cytomegalo collect in acute phase. Bakit acute phase? So less than 2 weeks. Okay, 1 to 2 weeks of infection. Okay, for serology. Okay, serological testing. Transport and storage, again, immediate processing is preferred. Specimen should be present as soon as possible after collection. Again, keep on cool at 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, refrigerated temperature. If delay is unavoidable, refrigerate than freezing. But if it's delayed for more than 24 hours, again, quick freezing using -70. Okay, again, preferably -70. Specimen handling. Before freezing, you dilute or emulsify the specimen in viral transport medium. And prolonged storage may result a loss of viral infectivity. May particularly for envelope viruses. So, anong sabi natin? For envelope viruses, they are weak. Okay? Because they are fragile. So, special consideration for your nucleic acid testing and laboratory developed test. So, if using commercial nucleic acid test or RT-PCR, it could be reverse transcriptase or real time. It depends on the laboratory protocol kung ano yung ginagamit nila. Yung RT, depende. It's either reverse transcriptase or real time PCR test kit. Follow manufacturer storage and transport guidelines, and for your laboratory developed testing or test, refrigeration at 4 degrees Celsius, and if delayed, again, -70. So for the swab-based specimen, acceptable swab are your synthetic, such as your Drayon and Dacron. Unacceptable is your cotton tips with wooden shaft. Again, it would interfere to your viral testing and also your calcium alginate. It may inactivate your virus, especially your herpes simplex virus. For transport consideration, emulsifying swab specimen in viral transport media before transport, and If transport may more than 1 hour, so it should be in a proper at room more than 1 hour at room temperature. Ensure proper suspension in your viral transport media. If not, you could utilize ref temp of negative 4 degrees Celsius. So what are the transport media? So transport media maintains vital stability and prevent bacterial and fungal contamination that is common for your viral specimen, especially in respiratory specimen. So composition, again, protein stabilizer such as serum, albumin, and gelatin to prevent lysis of your virus. Okay, antimicrobial agents or your antibiotics such as your penicillin, streptomycin, which are common. Okay, you use for prevention of your oral microbiota. Okay, more potent mix of your vancomycin and gentamicin and amphotericin. Okay, fetal calp serum, so is preferred as a protein source, less to contain inhibitors because if you would utilize human serum, it might contain antiviral drugs na. Same with your BAP or your blood agar plate, no, in culture media for bacteria because it could contain antibiotic. Your blood or the sample, okay, coming from human could contain antibiotic. That's why we utilize animal blood. Examples of transport media, you have your Stewart's, Amy, Leibovitz, Emery Medium, Hanks, Balance Solution, Eagles Tissue Culture Media, and commercially available of M4, M5, and Universal Transport Media. Okay? So, specific application. Respiratory rectal stool specimen utilizes modified Stewart medium, modified HBSS, or Leibovitz Emery medium with antimicrobial because again your stool and respiratory and rectal specimen are commonly contaminated with bacteria. For blood specimen transport and storage, for viral culture, sterile tubes with anticoagulant. Again, ano yung anticoagulant na ginagamit natin? Usually, EDTA, citrate, and heparin. Okay? Refrigerate at 4 degrees Celsius. Okay? For serological testing, use sterile collection tube. Separate the serum as soon as possible because your WBC could interfere and could degrade your viral content, or the antibodies may be destroyed as to unfavorable condition. So for short term delay of hours to days around 4 degrees. Pag long term weeks to months, you could utilize -20 or -70. This is for serological test. Serological, meaning serum. Because antibody is stable at this temperature naman. Unlike for viral, na we utilize -70 degrees. IgM, perform before testing. Bakit perform before freezing? To prevent false negative due to IgM aggregation upon thawing. So for laboratory methods, okay, we utilize a lot of tests for your viral isolation or viral testing, such as your cytological and histological examination. So we utilize biopsies, electron microscopy, okay, virus isolation in cell or tissue culture. So we also use culture medium for this one, cell vial centrifugation, enhanced virus detection, antigen or gene detection, your molecular diagnosis, and serological testing. For cytological or histological examination, uses fixed and stained specimen to observe virus-induced cell changes. So, anong tinitignan natin dito? Ang tinitignan natin dito is yung effect ng virus doon sa tissue. Ano yung mga nangyari? Ano yung possible changes na ginawa ni virus doon sa tissue? Hindi natin makikita si virus within the tissue unless you will utilize electron microscopy. Okay? So, anong ginagawa? Ini-stain natin din siya to enhance visibility of your pathological changes. So, what are the key findings? So, multinucleated giant cell or your cytoplasmic nuclear inclusions can be seen such as for your CMV, your ALSI appearance, pwede yan. KDNA viruses such as your herpes simplex virus and varicella zoster may have intranuclear inclusions. Okay, pag RNA virus, your cytoplasmic inclusions. Again, your CMV, your cytomegalovirus, your ILS-I inclusion. Limitation, low sensitivity and specificity. Okay, kasi nga, the changes are being observed, not directly the virus. So, kung wala yung hallmark na yun, yan, for example, wala si ILS-I appearance, you cannot identify that it is CMV, but if hindi pa ganun ka severe, wala pa talaga manifestation, but the virus is there, you cannot detect it. Kaya nga, low sensitivity and specificity yung cytological or histological examination. So, this is an example. For example, is your pap smear. So, for herpes simplex virus, ayan, you have your giant cells. Ayan. Okay? So, for letter B, okay, and intercellular inclusion of your CNV. Ayan, ito yung ALSI appearance. Ayan, no? Kitang-kita natin. Okay, the ALSI appearance. Okay. Sa letter D naman, okay, for adenovirus, okay, intranuclear inclusions. So, let's see, hindi ko masyado makita. Wala ko masyado makita dyan. Okay. And the last one is the Negre bodies. Where is the Negre bodies here? Those dots. Ayan o. Yung mga dark dots. Kaya nga negri, black dots. Okay? Ayan. Mga yan. Okay? So, those are being observed. Others, you do have again, pap smear. Okay? Ayan. Nuclear enlargement. Ayan. Human papilloma virus. So, next is your eosinophilic. Came from molluscum contagiosum, your molluscum bodies. Ayan. Sa loob, malalaki. Okay, yun yung mga yun. Then, we have your cells with measles virus. Ayan. So, hindi ko makita dito. Then, you have the rabies virus. So, large eosinophilic oval rabies virus. Ayan. Okay. So, next is your electron microscopy. It detects virus based on their size and shape. Okay? And using your negative stain. So, essential for viruses that do not grow in culture. So, meron tayong mga virus na hindi nakukulture directly, such as your Norwalk agent, astrovirus, and your calcivirus, and even your coronaviruses. So, this requires, ano yung limitation? This requires special equipment such as your TEM or your transmission electron microscopy and yung SEM or your scanning electron microscopy. And of course, you need to be an expert, and of course, this is high cost or expensive because of the material. So this is a sample. So this is for letter A. This is a rotavirus. Ganyan yung itsura niya sa electron microscopy. For your adenovirus, ayan, nakikita natin yung icosahedral form niya. Ayan, icosahedral niya. Diba? So then, icosahedral. Okay? Pero with spikes. Okay? Then, for Norwalk agent, ayan, medyo madami siyang spikes. And, coronavirus. Yan. Ayan, kitang-kita natin yung spikes. So, it identifies based on the shape and size. So, viral isolation. This is the gold standard. Okay? But, again, not all virus can be cultured. So, we do have types of cell culture. We do have the primary cell. Okay? The primary cell is directly from the tissue. So, we utilize HEK, PMK, and your AGMK. Okay? Then for your diploid cell lines, can be subcultured 20 to 50 times. Maintaining a normal karyotype, you have your WI38, MRC5, HDFS. Okay? And you have also your heteroploid immortal cell line. So, this is continuously growing, used for certain viruses. So, you have your HeLa, Hep2, KB0. Okay, so yung mga yan yung ginagamit natin. So, pag primary cell culture, isang beses lang natin sila pwedeng gamitin. And usually for broad sensitivity. Pag diploid naman, about 20 to 50 times. And pag heteraploid, you could utilize it infinite times. Kasi it is an immortal tissue. So, yung sample doon, continuously growing lang. Okay? Unlike ito, it could die pagka naubos na yung content niya. And this one also could die after maubos niya yung 20 to 50 times na content. Then, detection, pathogenic effect or CPE, cell rounding, clumping, syncytial formation, or lysis that should be observed in the cell culture. Okay, yung heat absorption for viruses producing hemagglutinin such as your influenza, para-influenza, and even mumps. And then you have the time. So, time is usually for HSV, 5 to 7 days, and for CMV, up to 21 days. And para lang siyang fungal culture. Unnecessary. Kasi nga, this is expensive, time-consuming, okay? Kaya hindi natin usually nyo-utilize. Cell vial centrifugation enhanced virus detection. This is same with the viral culture. Ano lang meron dito? Yung incubator nila is nakalagay sa parang centrifuge at continuously umiikot yun. Okay? Yun lang. Yun lang din yan. And antigen detected via fluorescence labeled monoclonal polyclonal antibody. So, meron siyang additional antigen detection test. So, pag antigen-specific techniques naman, okay, for direct detection of viral agents or genes, so you could utilize direct fluorescence antibody. So, stains the patient sample with labeled antibodies in order for you to detect the induced antibodies. Okay? ELISA, of course, antibody complexes, and latex agglutination. So, rapid detection, for example, your rotavirus in your sample specimen. So, usually, under serological test pa rin itong mga to. Next, molecular diagnostic method. Of course, you could detect the genetic material or the genome, okay, inside the virus. So, high sensitivity and high specificity. That's why this is commonly utilized for viral identification. So, it contains your PCR, your RT-PCR, your reverse transcriptase PCR, that dissects your RNA viruses. Then, real-time PCR. This is faster and more quantitative than your RT-PCR. Then, genetic probes such as your RFLP identify specific viral genome. But mostly, all of this can identify specific virus. Okay? Used for viruses such as your herpes simplex virus, cytomegalo, influenza, hepatitis, and even HIV. So in the Philippines, we don't utilize anymore the Western blot as a confirmatory testing for HIV. We utilize now your RIBDA. Okay, your RIBDA identifies the GP of your virus or the HIV. So your GP 120 and 24. So yun yung dinedetect niya ngayon. Okay. So ito yan, restriction fragment length polymerase reaction. So comparison of DNA from the stored source. Okay. Yung mga yan. And others. So you need to read on this. Then serological detection of viral antibodies. Of course, this is an indirect method. So It has also a medium level of specificity and sensitivity. So the virus does not grow in culture because you utilize the serum as your specimen. Antigen detection, nucleic acid probe, or amplification methods are unavailable because ano ang dinedetect natin dito? Antibodies. Wala ka naman dinedetect na virus. So, indirect. Kaya nga siya indirect. The virus is an inaccessible, okay, site such as your brain tissue. So, pagka brain tissue na such as your rabies virus, ano lang kinokollect natin? Serum for testing. So, what are the antibody response in viral infection? Of course, IgM would appear 1 to 2 weeks after primary infection. So, first line of defense. Kaya nga IgM is mauuna. Okay? Peak at 3 to 6 weeks, then decline undetectable levels for about 2 to 3 months. Pag IgG, susunod, okay, appears 1 to 2 days after your RGM. Kaya nga ang ano yan, ang timeline is ganyan. Okay? Ganyan. Okay? So, ganyan siya. It peaks at 4 to 12 weeks of your detection. Then, it can persist months to years. That's why, okay, this is a long term. Okay? Even lifetime yung protection mo pagka IgG na yung na-produce ng katawan mo. Pero not all can utilize IgG effectively, such as for dengue virus. Your dengue virus has dengue virus 1 to 4. And yung immunity mo coming from virus 1 is not applicable to virus 2 and 3 and 4. So, kaya usually you could acquire dengue 4 times and mas severe siya from the previous infection. Okay? Yan. Next, this is a sample for your hepatitis B. So this is a serological paneling. So this is a Hepa B panel testing. So how would you read? So you could test for HBsAg or your hepatitis surface antigen, your HBe or your hepatitis envelope antigen, your IgM, anti-HBC, IgM, IgG, anti-HBC, anti-HBs, anti-HBe, HBB DNA. Okay? So ano yung phase nila at ano yung possible alteration. So for acute hepatitis B, okay, usually what to be detected in your acute, you could have, okay, positive anti-HB-Sag, positive anti-HBe, and positive IgM anti-HBC. Okay, kasi acute, primary pa lang infection mo. Then, you could have positive or negative IgM, IgG, anti-HBC kasi ay may IgG na siyang kasama. Okay, pagka-acute, hindi pa ganun kalala. Okay, pag-acute. Okay, negative pa. Negative tayo for anti-HBs because your anti-HBs is for the immunity. Okay, from vaccination. Yung anti-HBs. Okay? Anti-HBC, anti-HBe, okay, commonly seen, okay, in the chronic, okay, or increase siya in prolonged chronic conditions, okay, antibody. Then, of course, the DNA. So, kung positive pa siya for acute, mataas pa yung count ng Hepa B. Next. That's for early acute hepatitis B. Pag window period, pag sinabi natin window period, wala nang manifestation, okay, tahimik lang siya, ano lang positive dyan? The antibodies of anti-HBC. And again, siyempre, positive ka pa rin with the DNA of your Hepa B. Okay? That's for window period. For your normal or recovery phase, ano na mapoproduce mo dyan? You could have, again, IgG, positive na, negative na yung IgM mo. Okay? Anti-HBs, bakit? This could be seen also in recovery, not only in your vaccination or immunity, but also seen in the recovery phase because you already have the antibodies. Okay, the anti-HBe, so again, this is a papunta ka na ng chronic or manifesting as recovery in chronic phase. And you could have negative or positive DNA for Hepa B or the virus itself for the recovery. Next, for chronic phase, pagka normally or slightly increased or immune tolerant, pag chronic, usually ano lang ang negative, the IgM. Kasi nga, bakit negative na? M. Chronic na tayo. Chronic na po tayo. Okay? Wala ka pang napoproduce na na antibodies for S and E. Kasi, matagal na, so, nag-decline na yung antibodies mo for that. Okay, next. Anti-HBe. The immune active. So, pag active, ayan. Anti-HBe, this is signifying that you are in chronic phase. Okay? Basta pag may IgE, usually in chronic phase na yan. Pag IgE, either HBe, AG, or anti-HBe. Usually, that's already in chronic phase. So, ano yung positive dyan? HB-Sag, HBe. Okay, again, still, positive pa rin tayo sa IgG or HBe. Okay, napansin nyo, pagpapunta na sa chronic, okay, mas nagpa-positive na itong anti-HBe. Anti-HBC. Okay, kasi C4 chronic tayo. And usually, saan lang nakikita yan? Sa chronic phase na. Okay, and so on and so forth. So, yan. Okay? So, paired sera for diagnosis. So, acute phase specimen collected when symptom first appear. Then, you also collect for convalescent phase specimen. So, collected 2 to 3 weeks later. So, to compare, okay, if there is an increase of 4 folds of antibody titer between the two specimens. So, kino-compare mo. If meron ka talagang current ba yung infection na yun or reinfection lang. Okay? So, current ba or reinfection lang yung nararanasan mo. Limitation and consideration. Okay? False positive and false negative result are possible. Bakit? On serological diagnosis, again, indirect tayo. So, you could, antibodies could be initiated by other organism also. Meron pa din mag-cross-react. Okay? Then, not useful for chronic or recurrent infections such as for HIV and CMV. Okay, since antibody persists indefinitely. Okay? The chronic choice of detection method depends on the virus type, host factor, and even the lab resources. So that's all.